Donald Trump is back in the news as he took the witness stand in his civil fraud trial in New York and had a bit of a battle with the judge. So I'm going to get to some of those quotes later on in this video. Unfortunately, there's no video from the courtroom. There only is like before and after. There's no questioning or video of the questioning, which I really thought we were going to get that. Maybe in a different case. But still, as you'll see, the quotes are fantastic, and I think they do help to capture what went on there. But before I even get to what this case is, in case you don't know, or to catch you up, this is the best thing to come out of today. This courtroom sketch. I don't know what it is. I absolutely love this sketch. I will likely put this in the thumbnail. When I first saw this, I thought of this.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
It really helps to capture Trump. Somebody who, pretends to be this big, strong man, but ultimately is incredibly weak and ugly. It captures him perfectly. So this case is the $250 million lawsuit brought by the New York AG's office, alleging that Trump and his co-defendants committed repeated fraud in inflating assets on financial statements to get better terms on commercial real estate loans and insurance policies. This judge already ruled the former president is liable for fraud, and he's considering how much the Trumps will have to pay in damages. So to be clear again, it's already ruled that they committed fraud. Now it's about the damages. So the case is civil, not criminal, but threatens Trump's business in New York. James is seeking to bar Trump from doing business in the state and to dissolve his companies. Trump's testimony Monday will also serve as a precursor to the 4 criminal trials he faces next year as he campaigns to regain the presidency. All right. Let me get to, before I get to any of these quotes, just a back-to-back, a before and after for the first round of questioning, because it really gives you it showcases how talkative Trump is beforehand, and then watch the after video.
It's a very sad situation for our country. We shouldn't have this. This is for third world countries, and very unfair. It's very unfair. But in the meantime, the people of the country understand it. They see it.
How's it going in there?
All right, so before the questioning, he would not shut up. In fact, of course, I cut that clip down. It was 2 minutes of him just talking nonstop. And then cut to after the first round of questioning. That's after he had, the spar match with the judge. He had nothing to say, not in a good mood. So this gets to at least the first bit here. In less than an hour on the stand so far Monday, Trump has repeatedly launched into monologues, causing Judge Engoron to repeatedly instruct him to answer the questions he's asked. After one such exchange, Trump reportedly remarked that he was sure the judge will rule against him, because Engoron always does. Trump being a child here, but this was the big issue throughout the first round of questioning, was just he would keep talking. Trump kept treating the witness stand as a podium at a rally. And the judge had to interject again and again, as you'll see, reminding him to actually just answer the questions. So this is the only video we're going to get, unfortunately, from the courtroom. You see him here pretending he's not scared. It's a very serious face. But that's the most we're going to get in terms of video from the courtroom. But here's where it begins. So at one point, as Trump began to testify, Engoron asked him to please move it along and answer the questions. Some of the questions haven't been responsive, the judge added. Trump looked ahead as the judge said this, never turning toward him. This is also a common theme throughout the questioning, is Trump attacks the judge, but doesn't look at the judge while doing so. I'm not sure if this is like an antisocial tell or what's going on here, but it's almost as if Trump knows he's full of crap, so he has a hard time looking at the person he is admonishing, because he can't do it while looking at them, because he knows he's being dishonest. Again, I'm reading a lot into it. Who knows why he does this, but this is a common thing that Trump does. He'll attack somebody without ever actually looking at them. And this was hilarious. So during questioning, Trump attorney Chris Kise referred to his client as the future president of the United States, citing a poll that I will get to later on in this video, which does not look good for Joe Biden. But like, my read on this is that Chris Kise wants to get paid. He knows Trump is not known for paying his lawyers or really anybody. So he's trying to compliment Trump here as much as possible publicly to soften him up and hopefully get paid in the process. Judge Engoron asked Trump's attorneys if they could control him in the courtroom. He said this is not a political rally. Maybe you need to have a talk with him right now. Again, going to how Trump kept going on these monologues. And then the judge got angry, which, I mean, I could totally see, considering how frustrating Trump sounds. But the judge is again asking Trump's lawyers to have him answer questions directly while on the stand. That was a simple yes or no answer, the judge said. I beseech you to control him. The judge went back and forth with Kise, with the judge saying, I don't want to hear everything he has to say. Haba, another Trump lawyer, then told the judge that Wallace needs to ask better questions, saying more succinct questions will give more succinct answers. Quote, we are not here to hear what he has to say, Engoron responded. We are here to have him answer questions. It's not that simple, Haba replied. I am not here to hear what he has to say. Now sit down. Exclamation mark. So he actually raised his voice here. And this quote right here, I'm not here to hear what he has to say, is something that Trump is now using as a way to try and claim, oh, look how unfair the judge is. He doesn't want to hear what I have to say. When really it's referring to, I don't want to hear Trump's monologues. I want to hear him answer the questions. But this is the kind of thing, if there is any strategy or motive at all behind what Trump is doing here, this was the reason, to try and get the judge to say something that could be maybe used against him in some way. Though ultimately, I don't think there was any real strategy here. I just think Trump being Trump, and he's always gone through life like this, and it's always worked out for him generally. So I doubt there was a motive or an attempt to try and get the judge to do this, but that's the result. So the testy exchange prompted Trump to comment, this is a very unfair trial. I hope the public is watching. The judge's warnings are critical as the case here is only meant to determine monetary damages. If Engoron determines that all of Trump's testimony is not credible, as he did the last time Trump took the stand, he may impose significant financial damages on Trump and his company. So this is not looking good for Trump. Trump doing this is not going to work out for him legally unless, again, I don't know enough about this part of the process, but unless this is enough to try and get a mistrial in some way to pretend the judge is being unfair. But I mean, knowing the context here, that clearly is not the case. But regardless, I think Trump's focus more is public opinion than anything else. Let me get just some quick analysis here from a legal analyst, Chuck Rosenberg, on why he thinks, again, if there was any motive here, why he thinks Trump did what he did in the courtroom.
There are two possibilities here, perhaps more, but two that come to mind. One is that Mr. Trump is trying to goad the judge into some sort of mistake, to make a comment that would be helpful to the team on appeal. Judge Engoron is an experienced jurist. I don't think that has happened yet, and I don't see that happening. The other, and you and Vaughn are both being very polite, and I think Vaughn called Mr. Trump intentionally unrestrained. It may just be that Mr. Trump is incoherent, right? That his answers make quite literally no sense, perhaps to anyone but him, and that he can't help himself. He can't conform to court rules or procedures. And so this is what you get.
So the more I sit with this, the more I think there is no motive here. This is just how Trump operates. Trump has always operated this way. It's always worked out for him in the past. Why would it work out differently for him now, in his mind? So I don't think there was any real motive to, try and goad the judge into doing anything. It's more just, this is who Trump is. A couple last things here. So after the lunch break, in further questioning, Trump appears more measured and steady in answering the Attorney General's questions. So for whatever reason, he has now changed his mood, I guess. Maybe he was hungry. Trump is like a big baby. He's hungry. He's going to be cranky. He eats a big meal at lunchtime. All of a sudden, he's calm. He's fine. He's answering questions. That could be really the extent of that. Last thing is this poll, since it was brought up. New York Times Siena poll. Trump is ahead in 5 of 6 swing states. So in every state here, Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Trump is ahead. And in some cases, I mean, big numbers across the board, really. Wisconsin, though, Biden is still ahead by 2 points. But, man, like, Nevada, are you kidding? Almost 10 points here? Or, sorry, over 10 points, 11 points. Good God. This is terrible. Now, this is a, a year away. So many things change. I mean, go back to 2016 and look at those polls, even the day of. So things change, obviously. But, man, this is not a good moment right now for Biden, considering he is not answering the obvious call for a ceasefire. You had tens of thousands march on Washington and really all over the U.S. and all over the world in support of a ceasefire. People that are largely, of course, left-leaning, or people that would at least be more open to voting for someone like Joe Biden compared to, especially, a Donald Trump. And to not see where the vast majority of people sit, as well as the recent Data for Progress poll on that, where it even shows a majority of Republicans support a ceasefire, and it's like 80% Democrats. And look, yeah, ceasefire is one issue. Of course, it's unlikely a year from now the election's going to be won or lost based on Biden's position now in a ceasefire. But it's not going to help him, especially with the sorts of voters he needs to come out for him to, whether it's your younger voters or certain populations. The Arab population in Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania are incredibly important there, and he's losing a lot of Arab support in those states because of, again, Biden's closeness with Netanyahu and the far right-wing Israeli government. So it's not helping him. Can he bounce back? Of course, anything can happen. Will these even be the candidates? It's far enough away, and these people are both old enough where it may, and Trump, of course, facing all these charges, it may not even be these candidates. But, Biden has to at least reassess what the hell he's doing right now. Because if you're going to win an election, you have to bring out younger voters. You have to bring out left-leaning voters. You are not going to do that by just trying to be a Republican light candidate.